Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the show. This is Allie at Heart and Soul Connected, and I am so pleased that I have a special guest today, Cathie Jennings, who is also known as the Cosmic Giggler. Welcome, Cathie.
Right.
Welcome.
Thank
Yeah.
you. So nice to be here. And
Yes.
I'm glad the Cosmic Giggler name gave you a giggle.
It did. It did. Actually, I told a lot of people that you were coming and they loved it. They said, that's a great name. That's really, it's just perfect. So, yep. And a lot of people here looking forward to being with us. And so I want to just say hello, give a shout out to some of them. We have Kiba and Kate and Craig and Ron. Thanks so much, Sharon and Pierrette, Emerald Buddha. Wow, got a lot of people here. Kiba, Debbie. Okay, it's really nice that you're here. Thanks everybody for coming. And today we're going to talk about her new business. Basically, she was going to come on last month, but she decided that she wanted to put her channel together, which I think is fabulous. And she is going to be sending me the information, the link to that channel, so you can check her out. And I think do you also have a web page, or you're working on a web page?
No, I'm going to use the YouTube channel
As your connecting point. Okay.
Right. I've been
Yeah.
down the road of trying to do my own stuff, and so
Uh-huh.
I'm using the YouTube channel and for as a like a website, and then
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
for my blog. I'm using Medium, so I'm
Okay.
a blog with the movie information
Wonderful.
on the blog, and
Okay.
so I've been down the road of trying to do my own stuff, and I'm
Uh-huh.
now going back to
Make it easier. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
someone else can do that for me.
I understand. I absolutely understand. Hi, Anne. It's great to see you here too. So I was talking with Dream Detective Kate, who is in the chat. She and I do a lot of work uncovering people's meanings behind their dreams. We have shows for that, and she has studied film as well as Craig Dixon. He's a big movie maverick, he calls himself, and he's also here. And I, of course, can teach film. I've taught film and love it. And you are going to combine both film and the tarot, which really is exciting. So I
Right.
want to talk about the concept, how you came up with it, and then we'll talk a little bit more. And then if anybody has any questions, that would be wonderful. So we'll take your questions after we do our discussion. So go right ahead, Cathie, and tell them about your ideas. Yeah.
So first of all, I'm a total film buff, since I could go to a movie theater and watch the serials and stuff like that. So it's been a passion of mine ever since I was at least 8, and
Wow.
it continues. And now, since COVID, I don't go to the theater. I stay home and stream, but the food's better at home.
Sorry.
So,
Yes, it is. And you can stop it and go to the bathroom.
right.
Yes.
And so that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So I'm not a purist about going to the theater. And it's really, since it's such a passion of mine, I've written a couple of books on it, and I'm updating my most recent book, which is about romantic comedies. And that fits right in with my idea of we're at this pivot point in shifting from the old patriarchy way of doing things to the feminine. And
Mm-hmm.
I think actually movies are a reflection of the masculine and the feminine, because, you know, guys like their
Yeah.
movies without any women in them.
A lot of them, some of them like them, but it's rare. I agree. Yeah.
Mostly, but they're in the thriller category. And
Right. Right.
as an empath, and I can't really handle most of those movies because I have nightmares, and it's not really worth it for me.
No, it's not. No, I'm with that with horror. I can't watch that either. No.
I cannot. And, you know, I'm probably one of the few people in the United States that doesn't like Stephen King, you know, for that reason.
Yeah. I
But
understand.
but I have an idea of using movies as a way to have people get in touch with their feelings and their emotions, and
Mhm.
and I'm at this point focusing on midlife career change, and
Uh-huh.
any change at all in life starts with letting things go
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
been doing before you can figure out what you're going to do.
What you're gonna pick up. That's right. It's the tower.
Right,
It's letting go of all that. Yeah, it's a
right.
tower. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
of course, the tower in the tarot has
Right.
the meaning of, you know, blowing everything up. So,
Right. Right.
and um, it's rather ironic that the former president thrives on the tower. So, you know,
I know. He does. His name's all over towers. Trump Tower. Yeah. Yeah.
although I guess they're taking those off now, but
Oh, really? Oh, all right. There you go. Yeah.
they
Yeah.
can't sell the buildings with the tower on. But
Uh-huh.
my idea about movies is it's a good way to get in touch with your emotions, and
Yes.
both negative and positive. And if you have to have, like for the guys, if they have to have their war movies,
Mhm.
then I would recommend that instead of doing like you know, heavy duty war movies where there's no color and no women and everybody
Mhm.
dies at the end, um,
Yeah.
that there are, you know, there's only like 6 or 7 stories, you
I
know,
know.
overall.
Oh,
Okay.
right. Right.
So
Yeah.
my suggestion is, as you're making these changes, you use the movies that are humorous. They may be animated, and
Mhm.
so there's like what is the name? There's an animated version with Mr. Australia. I can't remember, Mel
Mel
Gibson,
Gibson? Okay. Yeah.
and
Oh.
it's the story about um, the World War II everybody dies thing,
Uh-huh.
and they
Uh-huh.
animated it,
Oh.
and
Mhm.
so it's about a chicken farm. And
Okay. Oh, you're talking about, Animal Farm, right? Are you talking
no,
about it? No? Oh, okay.
no, of
Okay.
course, I'm having the momentary,
Of course, I know, I have it all the time. Yeah,
um,
I understand.
but
Yeah.
it's about, you know, Mel Gibson is this fighter pilot that crashes into a chicken farm in
Okay.
England.
Yeah.
But the person that really runs the chicken farm is a woman, not the
Mhm.
man. And
Okay.
um, what they're trying to do is the chicken farm owners are, you know, trying to Thank you. Chicken Run is the
Yep.
name of the
Is the
movie.
name of it? Okay. Thanks, Greg. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Uh,
And it's very funny.
uh-huh.
It's about, the bad guy owners of the chicken farm, and it's about the chickens trying to escape by air.
Okay.
And it's funny. It's
Uh-huh. Oh, I see.
it's the same story, but it's
Mhm.
yeah, The Great Escape was
Was the movie
the
that you're, yeah.
movie.
Okay. Yeah.
And so what I'm suggesting is when you're trying to make changes in life, you want
Uh-huh.
to do it from a, a place of humor if you have a choice.
If you can.
If
Yes.
uh, so
Yep.
you go for the humor rather
Mhm.
than
Right.
everyone dies.
Yeah, I know. I hate that with the ET movies that are out there. There's ET, which is a very kind and loving movie, and it has some funny scenes in it. And
Yes,
then there's an Independence Day where everybody's just killing, aliens are killing us. And to me, it's just too negative. I'd rather watch ET, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
you're a woman that would get on my program very easily.
Uh, yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember going to a movie with my boyfriend, and it was one of those war movies, and there were no women. And
Mhm.
he walked out of the movie, he goes, "That was really great. Didn't you like that?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't."
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
went over my head.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
So, and the more I get in touch with being an empath, now I know why. So,
Right. Right.
so
Yeah.
why torture myself?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That's
I
true. That's
I
very
can
true.
stay home and watch a funny movie.
Yeah. Well, that's why Heather says she always loved the early Star Wars movie because Princess Leia was a strong, confident woman of power, and I agree.
Right.
Yeah, it
And
was. It was. Yeah, very good movie. Instead of being the creepy one like Miss Gulch on Wizard of Oz, or like the old lady on Citizen Kane, and she's so cranky. She runs the
yeah,
boarding house. It's nice to see good, strong women that are positive in some of the movies that are out there. Yeah.
right. And I think I'm encouraged by the fact that now, particularly the animated movies like Pixar and
Uh-huh.
those kinds of studios um, are making sure that women have a role of strength. They're,
Mhm.
sometimes they're the boss, sometimes they're not, but
Right,
it's like
right.
this is the shift. It's
Yes.
the day of the guys, doing it all.
Well,
And
I think it's a less balanced masculine. Let's put it this way. There are people, my husband loves rom-coms, and there are some people here in the chat that say they do too, men.
sure,
But I think they're more balanced in their masculine and feminine sides. And
right,
so they can see it. It doesn't have to be all this one way. It isn't a logical approach. It's more of a heart-centered approach. So I really think that men could be encouraged to view this as well from your perspective. I really do. Yeah.
right. And also the fact that it's it's kind of anti-macho to like rom-coms from
Yeah.
male perspective. But the
Uh-huh.
truth is, as we move into the new stage where it's really about the women
Right.
first,
Uh,
it's going to shift into being the more important emphasis on
sure.
story, don't you
Yeah,
think? I mean,
I
the
do. No, I do. I remember back in the 90s reading a book called The Alphabet versus the Goddess. And it was a fabulous book. And it talked about how women ran the world until the invention of writing came along. And I always thought, well, that's really odd. Well, men sort of, because women were doing everything. There were lots of goddesses. And, we see a lot of those little statues of the big hipped women with the,
Right.
with the robust bellies. And then it just got shifted there. And I hope, and I like the fact that it's coming back to that, especially when I see something like Kansas and the women and men that all came together. I know. So that's
So
power.
happy.
That's the matriarchal power. Right.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And it's my feeling that it needs to be balanced. It can't be all, all men or all
Right.
women.
Right.
And the way I see things going in the future is that there's going to be more of a balanced approach. The age of Aquarius,
Yeah.
children that are, they're in
Absolutely.
high school now,
Right.
who are going to be the agents of change. They don't
Yes.
see things in a, strictly sexual way, like men versus women. So I
Right.
think they're going to
Well,
also.
there's a gender bending as well in their age group, so there's more acceptance, I think. I think you're right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm really counting on them. They have the burden of
Yeah. Yeah.
fixing a lot of the the
Yes.
problems that we've created, us older people. And
Right. Right.
I think it's all going to shift, but there's going to be a lot of people like the Republican Party that,
Well, yeah, we've got some resistance, but here's the key. I'll use the old example of Pat Boone and his white
uh,
bucks. Remember his white bucks shoes he wore? Well, they said that he, everybody laughed at him and everything. Oh, look at those stupid shoes. Why would he wear them? And everybody was picking on him. Next thing you know, white bucks people started buying them. They started buying them and oh, if Pat Boone wears them, I want to wear them. I mean, this was, of course, in the 50s. But once that happened, there was a paradigm shift. And it has to reach a certain level, and then it tips over. And everybody thought they were great after that. It was because he was wonderful and he made them popular. And so everybody, and it reminds me of that with this as well, that once we have this paradigm shift, it isn't going to be everybody, but there is with the collective unconscious and also the 5D ascension, the paradigm shift is really building itself up now. And you're right, the collective from the youth that are coming into it are amazing. They are helping that shift go over the top.
Right. And I think that it's my observation that these kids, literally they're kids, they're under, the people who are voting for the first time, they're showing up like Kansas.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like the image of ants, all at once there'll be all these little people that didn't count before, and all at once they're going to show up. They're going to, like in voting, they're going to bring.
Where did they all come from? They're going to say, but we already know where they came from. Yeah.
Right. So, and I live next to a high school, so I get to.
Oh, there you go.
Look at these kids, and they have a completely different way of looking at things, and
they do.
Putting up climate change posters in the local supermarket and stuff like that. And that didn't happen before, you know. And to me, it's very encouraging. And
it is encouraging. You're right.
I tried. Excuse me.
Oh, no, go ahead. That's all right.
I was going to say, because I live next to the high school campus, I try to send those kids love and light, because they're really going to be the instigators of the major shift.
They are. They're bringing in what they call a new zeitgeist, which is the German word for, it doesn't really have an American component, but what it is it's a spirit of the age. And they're bringing that to us. And those of us that can recognize that and help them and embrace them with what they're doing, will be on, right on the same side as them, and it would be wonderful.
Right. And
Yeah.
I think that that's one of the things that I'm here to do is
Uh-huh.
to help people make the transition from the old patriarchal way of doing things into the
Hmm.
new way of the feminine. But it's not only the feminine, it's a much
Hmm.
more balanced approach.
Right.
And it'll take a lot of people won't be able to make the shift
They
without a
won't. Yeah.
lot of pain. But
Yep.
that's
Yep.
why I go back to movies. If you can find good stories, and even our story telling is changing,
Hmm.
and the way we tell stories. If you can find ways to sort of ease people into the new way of
Yeah.
being and thinking, then I think that's helpful. You're not sending them out and dunking them in cold water and
Sure.
saying,
Sure.
"Deal
Yeah.
with it." You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and I'm thinking to myself that there are people that are what I call movie people, and there are people that watch a movie and can't remember anything about it later. Like my husband will watch; he loves movies, he loves to watch them, but he can watch them next week and forget that he'd already watched it because that's my husband. But my husband has very big genre differences. He likes sci-fi, he likes thriller, he likes time travel, he likes comedy. I mean, he's got all those things that he will watch, but there are a lot of people who don't take those in. Whereas my family, because I'm remarried, my family, we know all the quotes, all the words from the movies that we've watched over and over again. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And so, yeah, you can almost be that kind of a movie watcher as well, where you're just taking part in that whole experience. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Right. And the other observation I've made is, and of course, I live in a metropolitan area, so do you.
Uh-huh.
And we have people from literally all
Oh,
over the
everywhere.
world.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
but it seems like, with Netflix and the other streamers, we're getting much more of an international
We are. Yeah.
uh, look at the
Yep.
world. And
Hmm.
that it's really happening when marketers now, and that's my background, is um,
Uh-huh.
marketing, when the marketers now are not looking at marketing on a country by country basis. They're
Right.
actually looking at, there's like a metropolitan strategy, so
Okay.
that people can live in um, Washington, they can live in Mumbai, they can live in, Tokyo,
Uh-huh.
and they're the people that live in metropolitan areas, their life is more alike than the
Oh,
country
definitely.
who live
Hmm.
in the rural areas. So we're becoming an international, um,
Yes, definitely. I
and
agree with you. Yep.
that's part of the Aquarian age and shift, is that you're looking at it on a whole, that
Whole different basis. Yeah.
we're all equal,
Yeah. I've
and
always considered myself to be a global citizen, and a lot of people, or if they ask me where I'm from, sometimes I'll say Earth, and, and I get people that look at me like, "Oh, lady." But I really have always identified that way. I don't have an identification, let's say, with just one area or one way of living or one type of thing. I
right,
like that cosmopolitan idea of being one with the planet. So
right.
that's
And when
beautiful.
you've got Netflix, that's got uh, uh, stories from literally all over the world, so that
Yes.
they've
Yep.
got the Indian stories. There's a bunch of
Mhm.
things about
Mhm.
marriage that is told from different
different perspectives. Yeah.
right, and it's fun. I think, and it gives me hope.
It does. Well, it's like the Slumdog Millionaire movie, and then the other one that was Korean that just won an Oscar a while ago. Those would never have even been considered before. So we are seeing that kind of a shift, I believe.
Yep. And it's going to increase, and also the younger people they don't see the world other than that way. It's sort of like people can be from wherever they honor their
Right.
cuisine. It's sort of
Yeah.
everything. I think that's the best part of, for me, the best part of having a true global way of looking at things is the cuisine is way
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
and yeah. And
Have
so,
you ever seen the movie Water by Deepak Mehta? It's Indian. I'm wondering if you've ever
no,
seen
I
that.
haven't.
Deepak Mehta, it is an Indian. It was supposed to be made on the Ganges, and they would not allow it, so they had to film it in another area. And it is he had 4 or 5 different ones. One was fire, one was air, I think, and this one was water. That's just the name of it. Water.
There's another series that's Canadian. It's a Canadian Indian who did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, but this one was filmed over there, but couldn't be filmed in India because of the sacredness of the and they didn't like the politic of it, because what is about is it's about the Hindu religion. In the Hindu religion, they would marry off little girls to old men. Yes. And when they old men died, they had to be put away. The girls had to be put away in this separate area as pariahs.
Are you sure that's not? So there's a female director who lives in Canada, but she did a story about 2 sister-in-laws who turned out to be gay, and there was the one about the 10-year-olds being married off, and when the old man died, they had to go into these
boarding house type thing.
Terrible stuff.
So
that woman, I've forgotten her name, she always said laughingly, although it could be more serious, was that if she lived in India, she'd be dead, because she was going after all these ancient Hindu traditions.
Right.
Totally did not.
They don't like that at all. They don't want that as part of them. But it is the honesty, the brutal honesty of the system that was being exposed, and they didn't want it exposed. And so it sounds like it was similar, but not the same group.
I'll research it and send you them, because they're really well done. And she's probably in her 40s at this point. And her family, ended up in Canada. So
it could be her. This lady's name was Deepak Mehta, Mehta. I think that's a lady.
Yeah.
So that was the lady that did this. But yeah, it's interesting. We have so many films that we haven't watched that are American films, and yet exponentially there's so many more that are out there that don't get except now you're saying that Netflix and other places are bringing those to us,
right?
But a lot of people haven't even watched like film noir, or some of the Orson Welles movies which are being mentioned here.
Although Netflix is putting on some of the 50s 40s movies, so it's like they're all kind of coming out, and it's like you don't have to just wait for the latest,
right? Yeah.
big,
Yep.
big movie, which, it's not to my
Mhm.
taste usually.
Sure, I understand. No, I understand.
um,
I get annoyed with movies that are redone over and over, like the jazz singer, I think it was. There's like 20 iterations of that movie. It's like, do something else, you know.
yeah,
No, it was the one with oh Chris Christopherson was in it, and
yeah. Although
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
the
Yeah,
latest
yeah,
one was actually very good with,
with Lady Gaga, and yeah, I
yeah,
just don't care for her. Yeah, yeah.
I yeah, my musical taste does not include
Hmm.
country very much.
Mine doesn't either. Yes, yes. So I
I
understand. Yeah, it
Stars.
was A Star Is Born. Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks, Kate. Yeah,
I think that was the fourth or fifth.
fourth or fifth time. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's like, okay,
Let's pick
got
something
it.
else. Let's do
Yeah,
something. But like you said, there are only 7 or 8 stories in the world, and just different avenues they take to tell the story.
right.
And I mean, I tell my students that when we're reading books, when we're talking about film, and but yes, so very healing these films can be. But yes, I really do agree with you about the fact that the laughter is the real healer. You know, I love that. Yeah,
The
yeah.
and the great movies, you can watch over and over again, or maybe it's just me because I'm a
No.
geek, but
I do, yeah, I do that. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it's like, and there's days when I just feel like watching some movie,
Uh-huh.
that I haven't watched for a while.
Right, right. No, I agree with you. I'm
So,
I'm that way with the Glenn Miller story. I don't know what it is. It's my parents' music and I
yeah,
love it, and I can watch it twice a year and still love it as much as I did the first time I did, because I
yeah,
love to hear the music. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. I'm the
Uh-huh.
same way. My parents were of the, jazz
Right.
and
Uh-huh.
big
Yeah.
band era, so I like that music, better
Uh-huh.
than some other ones.
Revenge of the Nerds. There's a good one, Geek Hillbilly. I also like those Police Academy ones. They were so silly. That one guy on the Police Academy can make all those noises, and I think he's hilarious. He's fabulous when he does that. But
Right, right.
so Craig is in the chat, and he actually came on my show last week, and he has a spirit guide who happens to be Clara Bow.
Excellent.
And so he's always listening to 40s music. He's always watching old movies that she was in and others that we're in. And he's a movie maverick anyway, likes it all. You know, he likes all the different stuff. But he asked me if you saw the show he was on. But he's very, so that's where I'm getting that some of the men that are here are really into movies that you wouldn't think men would be into necessarily. And I think that's because they're more balanced. I just really think that's probably why, you know.
Um,
So,
yeah, and I'm not saying that all men hate rom-com.
oh, I know you're not. Yeah, no, I know that. Yeah, there is no always or no never. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
And I
So,
think
I'm sorry. I wanted to know what it is that you're going to be doing. Will you be involving the subscribers and the people in choosing movies, or are you going to be telling people to watch a certain movie and then have a discussion? How are you bringing in the tarot cards? I think that's what I'd like to know. Yeah.
okay, well, I have a process, and it's, I'm delivering it at this point as, a 6-part, session, learning session that's
Mhm.
focused on getting people to really, look inward for where
Mhm.
they're going, because
Mhm.
there's a lot of chatter and, stuff going on right now. But
Mhm.
and this isn't all people, and some people have a very spiritual, um, practice. But I
Right.
think when you're getting ready to make a change, like a career change,
Mm-hmm.
it's about giving them a reading, a tarot and numerology reading about
Uh-huh.
what their purpose is in life. And particularly at midlife, a lot of people are either laid off and they don't want to be, or they're
Mm-hmm.
bored to death with what they're doing, but they don't know how to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's about, first of all, identifying what your spirit
Right.
intends to
What your
do,
purpose is. Yeah.
what
Mm-hmm.
your purpose is at this time in your life. And
Right.
it changes over time, of course. But
Right.
there's a cycle called the second Saturn return, which happens in your mid to late 50s. And um, uh, Western way of thinking doesn't even count it as a part of life's changes, but it's a biggie.
It is a big, yeah, it
Because
is.
you're coming together at a time when you're having a lot of problems or issues. Your family, if you've got college age kids, is how are you going to finance them? If you have
Right.
elders that you have to care for, it's like, how are you going to take care
And
of them?
or empty nest syndrome, or bringing in the elders, one or the
Right.
other. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at that time in life. And to
Mm-hmm.
have a sense of clarity about your purpose in
Mm-hmm.
life is going to help you understand how to deal with all these things that you're juggling.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm recommending using films that are either close to what your story is, or
Okay.
makes you laugh, just, to release the tensions, or
Uh-huh.
pick out movies that appeal to you on some level, and
Right.
use them as like a ballast, a way to sort of steady yourself
Right.
as you're moving through these big changes, uh,
Sure. Yeah.
because no change is fun. Nobody likes to do it.
I
We
know.
all have to do it,
But
uh,
it's constant. There's a constance. Yeah.
and
You can't get away from it. Yeah.
it never stops, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And as we perfect our our I don't know how to say this, but there's all sorts of new technologies that are going to start getting a handle on, like, cancer and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
CRISPR
Mhm. Right.
technologies. So in the next 5 to 10 years, a lot of things that we look at as uh, end of life kinds of diseases and challenges actually
Mhm.
aren't going to be that. It's going to be something where it can be handled. So,
Sure. And it's only going to get better as time goes on. Right.
right. And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and then you're living longer. You, the idea of retirement is going to be kind of old news,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't, people talk about, and I worked in financial services, and it's kind of a grift, about retirement and stuff. It's like
Sure. Yeah.
in the 1800s, do you know what the average age of retirement was for,
Probably about 40 at the latest, right? No?
no, it's 84, because
Oh, that's really different. Okay. Wow. Okay.
because people were basically doing manual labor,
Sure.
and,
That's true.
and
Yeah.
when their body
And there
wore
was no Social Security either. Yeah.
out, and when your
Yeah.
body wore out, you were done.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, so we have this really twisted thing about, oh, I'm going to retire and do nothing, or
Yeah.
there's so many things to do in the planet that how can you
Right.
say you're going to do nothing?
Right. It would be very boring to do nothing anyway, I
Yeah.
think. But yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I come from a family of people who live in the late 90s,
Yeah.
so they don't, the concept of retirement is not in my vocabulary.
I understand. I
But
understand. I'm the longest working person in my family. My father retired at 60, and my brothers retired at like 45.
really, were they young?
Yes. And I don't know why they did. And I'll be 67 and I have no plans to retire right away. I, I go crazy. I mean, I'd like to cut back some on some of the jobs that I have because I like doing this, but I'm not really that interested in just sitting at home. I don't have the money to just sit at home. Let's put it that way. Just sit here. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not only the money, it's more the intellectual
Intellectual
engagement.
stimulation. Hmm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a proven fact that the go-getter type, entrepreneurial type, if
Hmm.
they retire, they're usually dead within four,
A
four
lot
to
of things.
5 years,
I know. Yeah.
because they're so used to just being,
Going and going. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So I think all of that's going to change. It won't
Hmm.
be everybody, but
Right.
I think, and the idea uh, of the let's go play golf or something. It's like, it sounds terrible to
I
me.
know. I
I'm
know.
not a
Yeah.
golfer, but you
Yeah.
know,
If you like it, you like it. But no, it's not my thing either. And yeah. So
yeah.
I understand. Yeah.
So I think all of that's changing. And again, I go back to film is a good way
It
to
is.
have fun,
Yep.
uh, or or look at emotions that you haven't looked at maybe for a while, with
Right.
it being a safe way to look at it, rather than, let's go um,
Yeah.
talk to a counselor about
Sure.
stuff, you know.
Working on yourself and maybe even journaling it, and how that impacts you. Somebody had mentioned in the chat, Sophie's Choice. That movie it's
Right.
very sad, but it's very good. And
It's
every time I think to myself that I have a decision I have to make about something, I think
wow.
about that. And
Do you
that,
watch it?
yeah, it's a beautiful story, even though it's tragic. And the choice she had to make is untenable for anybody. If
Right.
you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to
No,
blow it
I've
for
seen
you,
it.
but yeah, but I don't know if anybody else. But it's such a beautiful movie with Meryl Streep, and it's an older movie. But she has to make this choice that no one should ever have to make. And so anything else would be easy compared to that. If I kind of tie that in that way, thinking to myself, I always try to look for the silver lining. Well, at least it wasn't this. Well, at least it wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. I tend
Right.
to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So I have movies like that, and I watch them. Like every once in a while, it's like, well, it's time to watch that movie again.
Yeah. Just to
So
remind you. Yeah. Yep.
and to go through the whole process. I love music, so I end up watching a lot of movies over and over again, actually for the score. You know,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
it's it's sort of like video with music with a good
Right.
score. So there's
Hmm.
a lot of different reasons to watch things over and over again, and
Sure. Yeah.
um, it's about, the reason I recommend movies is it's a way to tap into your feelings and
It
sort
is.
of check your feelings against um, what you felt the first time you watched it. Like, there are
Right.
some movies that I watch, and it is a roadmap to how I've evolved,
Yeah.
like with relationships and stuff like that. So we
Hmm.
start
Hmm.
out a teenager and watch the movie, it's a different experience than when you're 50, you know?
Absolutely. But I still, that movie, Peggy Sue Gets Married? I think
Yes, sure.
when she's talking on the phone to her grandmother, because she's transcended time and she's talking with her grandmother on the telephone at her parents' house way back or whatever. I still feel that emotion that she had, because once we lose our parents, once we lose those that we love, we can never go back to that experience again. And it's like having a direct line to heaven. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
just, yeah, it was just such a really powerful moment for me. And I hadn't really thought about that for a long time, but that just came to mind when you were talking. And I actually tell my students all the time when we're reading literature that every time that you read a book, it's a different experience. You're a different person. The book is a different book because you're different. The book and the story is different. And that's the same way it is with film. It really is.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And another movie I like to watch occasionally is Life as a House. Did you
Uh-huh.
see that?
Yes. Yes,
And
I did.
I
Yep.
love the music. I mean, there's all
Uh-huh.
sorts of things I love about that. And it's about very difficult um, situations about dying and, you know,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
teenager out of control. So it's
Yeah.
not, it's covering all these things that aren't pretty to
Hmm.
watch theoretically, but it
Right.
really
It
deals.
engenders motion. Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
It's
there's a
very
lot of those. I call them, they're kind of hidden gems.
yeah.
And again, if even though they're about rough, it's not Sophie's Choice, but it's
Right.
about
Yeah.
all these things that you don't really want to deal with it and you don't know what to do.
Right. Right.
Then there are movies like that.
There are movies that you can set. You can send. Just it's the same way. My husband every year. It's a Wonderful Life. He's got to watch it every single year, and I that's just his movie. And I know that he wants to watch it, and we watch it, and he wants to watch the black and white. He doesn't want to see anything in color.
The original.
And yeah, and I love the black and white movie because I grew up, we had color eventually, but had a black and white TV. So even if it was in
Sure.
color, you had to watch it in black and white. But
Yeah,
there's something about it, when you're looking at the blocking in it and all of the elements that are in it and how they use lighting and color and sound, and the whole thing is just fabulous. And I really grew a lot when I figured out all that stuff, the mise en scene and all that, which would help me understand the movie and how they make sure they have, if they want you to see something, they make sure that you look at it like the Maltese Falcon, keep
right.
showing this falcon everywhere.
And
But yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah.
I think another appealing thing about those movies from the 30s, 40s, even
Hmm.
50s is that they used fantasy. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
they had the angel in the Christmas movie and Harvey. I loved Harvey.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Harvey the Mind. Yeah. Yeah.
we don't for some reason we seem to be in this world where fantasy isn't encouraged, and yet I think that's some of the best stuff.
It is some of the best stuff. Yeah. And
I,
you notice that there are times that films go through these times, like even television shows. There's all police shows, and then there's all, combat shows, and then there's all these other kind of shows. And it just shows us what our focal point was during those particular times. And it's just fascinating to see that. It really is,
yeah,
especially when you're looking back at some of the older stuff. So,
yeah,
wow.
and I think in Netflix is bringing back a lot of the oldies,
Uh-huh.
and the film noir and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's good to see that it never dies,
And it never dies. That's right. It's
and
it's cyclical. Yeah, it
yeah,
absolutely is.
And
Does anybody have any questions for Cathie? If you do, can you put them in the chat so I can have her answer them? And some of you are asking for readings. When Cathie is finished, I will stay a little bit later and I will give you some readings if that's what you'd like to have. But right now, I'd like to see if anybody has any questions before I, oh, geez, this was funny. Do you remember in Fried Green Tomatoes, Kathy Bates, I'm older and I have more insurance? That's my favorite line. Yeah.
And the best, yeah, Kathy Bates was wonderful in that movie.
Oh, she was. Yes. And she was really also really good in Misery. Oh, that was, oh, you didn't see that though. You don't like Stephen King. There are some Stephen Kings that are pretty good. I don't know if you've ever heard of 11/22/63, the movie. He wrote a movie about a guy going back into the Kennedy assassination. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Well, he wrote a great writer's book.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And there are a couple King books, but the horror genre just.
I understand. No, I'm very, very selective. I won't watch much. I didn't watch Game of Thrones at all. I can't watch that. That bothers me.
No, and then they put
and all that. Yeah.
They put it on at night, when you're supposed to be sleeping, and I'd be like, forget it.
What is your favorite genre, though? I'll ask you that question. What is, if you had to pick one, what would you say it is?
Well, to be honest, I'd have to say it's the romantic comedy.
Romantic comedies, yeah.
And comedies in general. Because, first of all, they usually have a feel-good ending. You're expected that when you read a book or watch a movie in this genre, you expect certain things. So
you do, yeah.
And like I'm loving Bridgerton. On Netflix.
And I love Downton Abbey when that was on. I like the Bridgerton. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I like historical fiction very much. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then I'm a Janeite, so I love anything Austen. And so that Regency era is interesting.
Sure.
Of course, it's nothing like it really was, but
right. Well, it's like Outlander. I love Outlander because it's a fantasy, and it has basic historic value as well. It talks about things that happened in history, but she's fabulous. But she writes. I just finished the last of her books. She just wrote 900 pages. It took me 6 months, and usually I like big books, but it was very, very dense. Let's put it that way, because it's all narrative, So I'd rather watch it.
Yes, and do you know what her writing style is? And the reason she can crank out these 1,000-pagers, multiple 1,000-pagers, is she writes. She has 3 books going at a time. So she writes on something until she gets stuck. She moves to the next one.
Yeah.
Same process. So
same process. Yeah. She's got a scientific brain because she was a biology professor or something, or science professor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got my brother to actually read that series because he's a sci-fi fan.
Okay. Yeah.
And I told him it was a time travel book series. And so he dove in, and I think, if I had said it's sort of a romantic comedy,
he wouldn't have read it. Yeah. Yeah. So, I know. I get it. You have to sneak some in sometimes just to get the interest started, So that's awesome.
Yeah. So you could hook him on sci-fi.
Yeah. There you go.
Then he was hooked.
Very good. Very good. Well, Cathie, thank you so much. I really enjoyed having you here, and you will send me your links. I'll put it on the information below. We look forward to seeing your channel and seeing how it grows and seeing what kind of things you bring to it. I think it's fun. It sounds exciting. And I really wish you well with it. I really do. I hope
Thank you
things go
very
well.
much.
Thank you very much.
And it was
And
a pleasure.
yeah, thank you. And folks, I'll stay here for a little while. If anybody wants to have a reading, then just let me know, put it in the chat. In the meantime, we'll say goodbye to Cathie, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna, there you go. All right, folks. Thank you. Thanks to Cathie. All right. I've seen a lot of folks talking about their favorite movies here in the chat, and that's awesome. I got to bring Caramel up here because she has to have mommy time. I look forward to looking at some of these. I remember Dr. Strangelove. Wow. Yes. How about the one, How I Learned, is that the one, How I Learned to Love the Bomb? How I Learned to Love the Bomb, I think it was, or something like that. Absolutely. Yeah, it is. Lots of great movies were discussed, really. And so I think it's great. I used to have all the DVDs, and now I just don't do that because we have so many different channels we can go on. And yes, she's a real mama's girl, and I've only had her since June, or yeah, it was May. I've had her since May 14th, and she's 10 years old, and she just loves her mama. So that's, yeah, she has to, whenever she knows I'm gearing up to finish, then I have to pick her up because she wants to be picked up. I'll feed you soon. All right. I saw somebody had a question. Oh, Craig, I had fixed this for the movie channel. Yeah, that you're great. All those things are wonderful. Yeah. Yes, they do, Kate. It's expensive, and they do take up an awful lot of room as well. Yes. Slim Pickens rides the bomb to the ground, and Peter Sellers plays. Oh, he does? I didn't know he played it. Wow. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Hi, Sylvia. Nice to see you. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Did I see The Legend of 1900? Was that isn't the one with Johnny Depp, or there's one with somebody in no, that's a hotel room number. I don't think I saw that, the one you're talking about, Kate. Is it worth it? Yeah. I guess I have to 1910. Ooh. Anybody seen the movie with it was from 1927, I want to say, and it's about workers working, and there's a clock, and it's Fritz somebody. They're fabulous. Jazz player on a cruise ship. Oh, it was 1408. Thanks, Keith. Yes, I saw that movie. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Room 1408. Yeah. Well, guys, Metropolis. Thanks, Kate. Yes. Actually, if you watch Radio Gaga on YouTube with Queen, there's a background of Metropolis, and Freddie Mercury's on there, and they're singing the song, and they're going through all these different places with that. Fritz Lang. There you go. You guys are great. Thank you. Any film involving mental health. Oh, okay. Wow, that's great. We went from 35 people down to 10 or 13. So I wanted to make sure everybody, thanks, Viviani. I wanted to make sure everybody was okay. I know that some people were waiting for readings. They probably gave up. I don't know. Anyway, Wim Wender's work. What's your favorite line? I love Snap Out of It. Wow. Oh, the one I really like was with Alec Baldwin, and was it Billy Crystal? I can't remember, but the guy is on the bed and he has the computer, and he didn't have his pajamas on or something, and he's videoing everything to the person watching on the laptop. Yeah, amazing. M was creepy. Okay. Are you Rossum's Universal Robots? Oh, I think I got to go back and watch some of those. If you really want to be shocked, you should watch the one that was made in the early, I think it was the late teens, early 20s, and it was about slavery, and it was really, really bad. I mean, they were using blackface, and they were, talking about people at the time, as being slaves and all that. That was funny. Man Up. I don't think I did. Nose verb looks like Jury. Especially when he's dripping, right? When Giuliani's dripping. Ted Cruz looks like Grandpa Munster, doesn't he? I love to see those when they say separated at birth or something like that, and you get a picture of one person. Birth of a Nation. Thanks, Craig. If you see that, it is horrible. It's horrible, but you have to think about when it was done. And it reminds me actually of Song of the South by Walt Disney, which was a very racist cartoon that was put out in the 50s, I think, or the 40s. And it's barred from being shown. So yeah, it's very, it's very racist and everything. But you have to think about who did it. That's right. And when it was done. And that's what people felt. That's how they felt at that time. It's really awful. Yeah. Oh, wow. He sleeps upside down. Oh, there's another one. I like, if you haven't heard of some good films to watch, you should watch the Criterion collection of films. There are some great international films in there, and some great films from Ingmar Bergman and a few others that are very worthwhile and worth watching. Yeah. Let's not insult Al Lewis. Sorry, Al. Sorry. That's true. My next show will be on Sunday, Wildflower. But did you wish for a reading today? I'd be happy to give you one if you want one. I know a lot of people waited a long time, but this wasn't to be a reading show. This was more to be a show to interview Cathie. And I really kind of like her idea. I really do. I think she's got a good idea. I think that if you're interested in film and you're well viewed, you've viewed a lot of films, you still haven't even touched how many more there are that you haven't viewed. And I only know this because every time I took a class in film and film theory, I always had films I never heard of before and I've never watched before. And it's the same with books. It never ends. It's like there's a whole treasure trove of them, but you just didn't know they existed. Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, Anne. I'm glad. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, Kate, I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I really like him. He's very, very good. Yeah. The Electric, I saw that one. And I saw the one where 1917. He was good in that one too. That was a really good show. So, and Fellini. Oh yeah, some really good ones. Yeah, some really good ones. You would like to know what's in store for you in the next few months. All right, let's check it out. Let's do that. All right, Sylvia, I'll be glad to do that. In the meantime, you folks can, Clockwork Orange. If you guys have never seen that movie, it's pretty disturbing, but it's really, really, how do I want to say this? When it came out, it was actually rated X, and it was, you had to be 18 even to see it. And I remember seeing it at 18, I think it was. And it was a strange movie, but there's something about Kubrick. He always did those things. He did that with Eyes Wide Shut as well with Nicole and Tom Cruise back in the day. So, all right, Sylvia, let's see. So I pulled these cards and they're called the Golden Insights Oracle. The first one I pulled is a ring. Are you getting into a new relationship or making a long-term commitment to something or thinking about that? I don't know if that resonates with you, but that's a very interesting card. The next one is Nourishment, a Peaceful Life and Personal Boundaries, which is represented by the panda. You know, I love bears, and panda bears are so cute. So perhaps nourishment, peaceful life coming to you, and maybe you've been feeling it. But you may have also been feeling a bit trapped. Have you been feeling caged in? You know, a lot of people have felt caged in because of, even though the pandemic is over. Okay, so you don't have anything with that. So let's pull some different cards then. Let's see what other things we may find. So sometimes the cards throw us. I know I've felt caged because I've been waiting for a computer to come from Amazon, and it was something that I bought during the Prime days that were July 12th, and I've been stuck home because I can't go anywhere. I have to sign for it, and it's now been 3-4 weeks, and so I wrote to them, and they said, well, it'll probably be another 5 or 6 weeks. And I thought, this is just not right. This is just not right. All right. We're going to try some other cards. Well, it's interesting that the same sort of message came through. Isolation, feeling isolated, feeling caged, being dependent on someone or something, or feeling stuck in some way, like you can't move forward. But it's part of a karmic lesson that you have. You've been stuck home because plumbing repairs. Oh, Jan's free. Maybe it's coming out for you. I understand. It sucks to have to be stuck somewhere because you can't go anywhere. Yeah, I know they do. Yeah, too many. All right, I'm going to try one more for you, Sylvia. I don't know. Maybe it's just not in the cards tonight. All right, let's try this. I'm getting the same thing, that you're feeling like you're stuck and needing money. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting that all of the card pulls that I have all have the same message in them. I'm sorry that you're not seeing that. Maybe it's something that's going to come. I hope not. Let me pull one more. Here's the Angel of Resurrection for you. Okay. The fire of purification, truth and love. It says to burn up the blocks to ascension and turn the energy of negative emotions into productive actions. Ask for help, and this angel will help you. Oh, you're recovering from an illness. Okay. So you have been kept at home. You aren't caged there, but it is a kind of a caging, because if you're recovering, then you can't do some of the normal things that you are doing. You kind of feel like you've had a jail sentence, perhaps. So I see that you're going to be resurrected and able to go out and do those things. And this angel is making sure that you are. Yeah. And yes, illness is kind of like being in a cage. It is. We all knew that because of COVID. You know, with COVID, we couldn't go anywhere, couldn't do anything, you know. Yeah. It is interesting that the same card, it just means that the message is there. And sometimes the message isn't recognized by the person at that time. So, Anyway, I like the last one, that you're going to be resurrected and get out of there. Get out of the house. Go do something great. Yeah. All right, Anne. Your new job. Your new job. Let's see what we get, Anne. I'm so excited that you seem like you like your new job. And I'm glad you do. Yeah. I know, Wildflower, a lot of companies do sell through Amazon, and not all of them are reputable. I agree with you. And the thing was, it was a $400 discount for this computer that I was going to get. I got one for my husband that came 2 days later. This one said it would come later, but not this much later. And then when I called the lady, she says, at the customer service, she says, oh, you're on a waiting list. I don't even know if you can get this before October. And my husband and I both intuited that they wanted me to cancel. They were just going to make it as impossible as they could. So, ooh, this is kind of cool. Yes, illness does teach us a lot of life lessons. COVID taught me to appreciate downtime. I don't know that I would be as relaxed as I am if I hadn't been home for all that time. So, yeah. Okay, Wildflower, that's fine. I'll get you next. Yep. All right. So I see that this is a very healing card for you. Job for you, Anne. Look at this. Look at all the beauty here. It's an 8. An 8 is always a transition. And so you're transitioning from the other job to the new one. But look at all the hearts and the beautiful butterfly that's being released. So I think that you are that butterfly. I think you're going to probably have a lot more use of your gifts and your autonomy there. It says here, this is your power center. And it's a mandala, and it's a chakra, really. So the chakra would be the third chakra, the gut. And so, yes, your intuition and your gut feelings emanate from this power center. And it looks like that's working for you really well. And again, you are a heart healer. So I know that you and I have talked about other things, but everything will come in time. Everything's going to come in time, but your new job is what you need right now, and they need you right now. That's the way I feel. Yeah. And let's see. I can pull one other one to see what this one says. Ooh. Lightning. Sudden events, unpredictable, and shocking. Go in like lightning. How about that? That's kind of cool. That's a good feeling. It's not a negative. Very good. All right. All right. You're welcome, Sylvia. All right, Wildflower. Are you, you're just in need of an uplift. I'm getting that. Okay. Just a little uplifting. All right. Let's see what we can do. Let's see, which ones do I want to pull? It's kind of fun, just hanging with you guys. Thanks. All right, this is just one group of cards, and then I'll pull from another one. I'm feeling as though you have a watchdog. I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't your husband. He's always trying to encourage you, and he's watching you. And look, even in the end, he's got a beautiful heart there, even in the back part. But a watchdog, is keeping watch over you. Tornado comes next. I'm thinking it's more like a whirlwind. Maybe something's going to gear up for you. I don't know, like a whirlwind. I'm not sure, but you have earned your wings, just so you know. So you can fly. That tornado, that whirlwind is not going to knock you down because you'll be able to do it. And the last one I got was the poet. And so a poet is a very sensitive person, a person who can use a minimal of words in order to evoke emotion. And sometimes poetry is also very healing. And so looking at some of the poetry, I don't think it's asking you to do it. I don't think you're going to be a poet unless you want to. But I think it's very healing. And you should consider that sometimes the words come in very short and beautiful language, or sometimes the symbols do, and it brings you to what you need. And so to look for the signs. But I'm going to pull one other card deck here. Okay. So the three cards that I pulled, I think they're kind of admonishing you that if you're feeling depressed or you're feeling upset or you're feeling out of sorts, that perhaps talking to somebody else would be helpful for you. This is a different type of counsel. This is a counsel like a counselor, like a lawyer. I don't think that's what it's saying. I think it's more somebody that you can speak your truth to. I think you need to feel you have the ability to say how you're feeling and what you would like, what you want in your world. Right now, you're hurting, and so that makes it very difficult. You are going through the dark night of the soul, and the dark night of the soul is something that all of us go through at least one time, more often more than that. And it's saying, take good care of yourself. This doesn't last forever, but it's not pleasant to go through, especially when you're by yourself. And so think about this angel card, Cassiel, the keeper of karma and time. Set your boundaries, find your solitude, and shed some tears if that's what you need to do. This is the paradox of light versus dark. Some days are light, some days are darker for us. It says, I help you balance your karma and teach you how to grow through life's challenges, trials, and tribulations. And it's got obsidian as the stone on this, and that grounds you. So I think grounding you, if you can figure out a way to ground yourself, whether it's to go outside, walk in the grass barefoot, whatever it is, I think your connection to the mother, which is Gaia, the earth, would help you in your pain. It's the keeper of time. It's the keeper of karma. Much love to you, Wildflower. I know that you have hard time, and some of your days are harder than the other, and all of us here are sending you lots and lots of love. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what else. What else have we got? Oh, you're welcome, dear. No problem. Like a roller coaster. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, was there anyone else? You called your healthcare company? Oh, good for you to make an appointment with a therapist. No one was taking new patients? Oh my goodness. You know, my daughter is a healthcare professional. She can't help anybody that isn't in Washington State, unfortunately. But she deals with grief and she deals with narcissistic parents. Those are her two specialties. And she has a lot of people coming to her who have lost people. And it is very hard to get in because a lot of therapists need therapy. They're having a really hard time balancing that out for themselves as well. I would keep searching for it. Sometimes you can find people on a sliding scale. And I don't know. I just feel like you can think positive, that you can manifest this counselor, this therapist that can listen to you, whether it be on a Zoom call or in person, whatever way that's possible. Maybe try some alternatives. That just bothers me so much, because the healthcare system has really had a really difficult time, especially the mental health care system. So, yeah, I'm going to put that on my prayer list for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, all right. You're welcome, dear. Oh, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Okay. Well, yeah, but that's a very large area. And I'm surprised that, okay, Kate, you can do that. I'm surprised that they don't have anything that, I just keep checking. I'd call them until they were going to tell me, we'll have to invent somebody for you. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be weird, but yeah. Many are online. Yeah. But I know that it's expensive, and you were looking for it through your healthcare provider. I recognize that. All right. A card for the collective, Kate's wanting. All right. Let's take a look-see here. Thanks, Kate. Oh, you didn't connect with that one. Yeah, that happens. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It happens to my daughter too. She doesn't connect with different patients, or they don't connect with her. It's not easy to find somebody that you can feel you can spill your guts to. So I understand. Yeah. All right, so these are the Sacred Earth Wisdom cards, and I'm pulling them because I really feel like that's the focus of what our Earth, and it's how important it is to us is the focus. So it's asking us for consistency at the smallest level, consistency at the largest level. So we want to be consistent in our own lives. We want to be consistent in what we do and how we take care of ourselves, and how we work with our energies and our gifts. But we also want to be consistent with Mother Earth. We want to be consistent in the way that we treat her. We hopefully some of the things that are passing in the Senate, hopefully that works out, and we get some money to do some climate work and to repair some of the infrastructure that we can't just let it turn to junk. It's got to be taken care of. So, but I really believe that what's in the microcosm is also in the macrocosm. So I think that that's an important thing to point out. It's asking us for unity. Oh my God. Yes. And you know how difficult that is. But we are one with the earth. We are wrapping our arms around the earth. And they say that a lot of people who really love the earth don't even realize how much they love it until they're out, like at the space station, and they look back and they go, look at that down there, how delicate that is. And I come from there. And so unity is another thing that's really important for us. And finally, it says to stretch. I love that. Be like a cat and stretch. Stretch your arms out. Take care of yourself. Limber up. And also remember that the planet is asking us to stretch for it. Do a cleanup. Clean your yard. Keep your flowers growing. I know that oil painters doing that. So, that's very important. And we need to make sure that we do it microcosm, macrocosm. So very clear signal to me that this is something that needs to be done. Yeah, we are connected in unity. Yes, absolutely. Okay, Jen's free. I'll give you a card and then we'll probably be done for the night. But thank you for hanging out. Absolutely. Your Diva 7-pound dog, Iris. All right. She just lied on top of my old dog. Well, it's a nice cushion, Hi, Valerie. Hi, Val. Oh, my God, that's so funny. Yes, it can. Permaculture can heal it one yard at a time. Yeah, you're welcome, Craig. Thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest of your story when we do it in a couple of weeks. Oh, okay. So here's the skinny on the dog. She's given you an unexpected message, and it's not just a meaningful coincidence. She's doing an energy cleanse on her twin flame. I think that what happened was that your doggie came back to be with the other doggie, and they've lived a lifetime together or more. I don't know. And they're, I guess dogs can be twin flames too, but I think that's hilarious. It's like, I'm going to give you an energy cleanse. One of my Shih Tzus is a puppy. She's 15 months old. And that we had a goat that was born and had it at my husband's office. And she would clean that goat every day. Every day, clean its ears, clean its face and everything, like a mother. And she never was one. And now she does it with all the older dogs. She goes around licking all the older dogs, making sure their ears are clean, making sure that they're okay. So I think they must have known each other in the past life. But that's hilarious. Let's climb right on top of the other one. Oh, my God. Oh, that's fabulous. Wow. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks for being here. Iris Bull is the other for attention. Yeah, she wants attention. Absolutely. She does. Thanks, everybody. I really enjoyed being with you, and thanks for hanging with me afterwards. I hope you have a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow. Lady Saul is coming on at 7 o'clock Pacific, and she's fabulous. And then Sunday, I'm with Jean, and she's fabulous as well, as are all of you. Maybe you could all watch a recommended movie and chat. I would love that. I would. Hi, Goatee Man. Hi. Okay. Yeah. No, do it. Let's do it. We could do it and have a show about it. What do you think? Just let me know. You're welcome. Bye, everybody. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.